Now everybody says blood's thicker than water, but I'm here to tell you that blood's harder to clean up. I got a lot of messages and a lot of comments. People have been wanting to know what it's like when relatives run into each other inside a prison. How it ends up being we're at the same place at the same time doing a bid together. So for this video here, I'm going to be telling y'all a story. I'm going to let y'all know what it's like as far as from what I seen with a couple people that was locked up with their relatives. And y'all go ahead and be able to drop in the comment section what you think. So let's get into it. Dom the best, finna be this way till I EOS. Take it how you want, nigga, yeah, I'm a pro. Fuck around, I'll bust your lot while you're at Vizzo. I hate to be this way, but I live for the moment. Waking up every day, show me an opponent. Shanks on deck, hitting bitch with a lock. So much pool, I can even start you from the box. You don't wanna pay rent, got me bent. Got lax on deck, your money was well spent. Vultures on the prowl, so don't try testing. Step 2, cause violent first steps finessing. You a hold down man, suitcase this. My cell phone and my charger don't walk with a limp. Get it knocked off or missing, you gon' get it. Next time I see you ass, you gon' leave airlifted. What's up, y'all? You already know, man. K-Frog TV back in the building. Y'all go ahead and do me that solid favor, man. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button, and also make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see it first. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. If this is your first time tuning in, my name's K-Frog, and almost everything I talk about over here is prison or jail related, because I want people to know what to truly expect if they find themselves on the other side of the system. For this video here, I'm going to be answering a question that a lot of people have been asking me recently, and that's what it's like for relatives inside a prison. If somebody runs into a cousin of theirs, you know, a brother of theirs, you know, a father of theirs, an uncle of theirs, etc. So I'm gonna let y'all know from what I seen while I was doing my bid down here in Florida of how far, you know, someone's willing to go behind their actual blood. All right. Now, one thing I will let you know is when it comes to doing time, it doesn't matter who's in there with you or who isn't in there with you. Your bid is going to be totally different than everybody else's bid. Okay, you could come in there too deep and think it's us two till the wheels fall off. And it's not going to last long. You get what I'm saying? Ain't no bunk beds inside of a casket. People die on a daily inside of prison. Okay, so you came in solo, you're going to be leaving solo. That's just how it goes. Now, while I was locked up, I actually came across a couple people who had relatives in there. You know, you'll find people locked up with their cousins, you know, like it's nothing. That's normal, you know, even if it ain't their real cousin, because a lot of people say they're cousins, you know, that's my cousin, blah, 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 and a lot of times it really ain't. But even when they're locked in there with the cousin thing, that just means they're close like homeboys. You get what I'm saying? They're not like clicking up, linking, and mobbing the pound every single day together. You know, some might see each other more often and say what's up here and there, or that's my cousin, or beef, you know, escalates. They might get in the middle and try to like part the two problems before it leads to something, because they got their cousins back. You get what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you know, like I said, blood is blood, water's water. All right, now me, while I was locked up, I came across 2 occasions that had very important, you know, relatives. A cousin, I won't say is not important, but it's not as important, you understand? But while I was doing time, there was actually these 2 brothers, and they were twins, that was locked up at the same institution I was at. All right, now the way that they did their time was the total opposite of what I said about cousins. Okay, cousins don't really be near each other 24/7, but these 2 twin brothers, they were literally together 24/7. If you seen them going to the education building, they were walking together. If you seen them going to chow, they were eating together. You get what I'm saying? They did every single thing together, even Vizzo. You know what I'm saying? There'd be times where I go to Vizzo and I'm up there and I peep, and you'll see both of them sitting at one table with who's there visiting. You get what I'm saying? And to be real with you, my opinion, that bid right there for them 2 individuals, I feel like wouldn't be as bad as if they were separated. You understand? Now, if I had, you know, a brother of mine, or, you know, someone I'm real close with in there doing my bid day for day, walking around with me every single day, and the guards actually respect it and they know they're brothers, it's going to make your bid a whole lot easier. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you could care less about what's going on with everyone else, because you got your, you know, person you could trust right here with you. You feel me? And these 2 brothers, you know, they were cool with everybody. Everybody on the pound liked them. It wasn't like they liked him but didn't like him. They weren't in the gambling. They weren't in the drugs. They weren't in the hustling. They were just people that would come in the dorm and, you know, made everybody feel like they're just cool individuals. You get what I'm saying? So it went a long way. They were cool enough to where the guards actually allowed them to stay like that, okay? Because another time when I was being transferred, I landed at an institution while I was in confinement. And while I was in the box, one of the brothers was in the box, the other brother was on the compound. And the reason for that is because the guards, once they found out they're related, decided to separate them, you feel me? Because 9 times out of 10, that's what they'll try to do. You know, they don't want no favoritism. You know, at the end of the day, if one person's into it, everybody's into it, you feel me? If you got a brother in there and he's beefing with someone, his beef's your beef, you know, and you might not be on what he's on, but his enemies are your enemies. So if they're coming to look for him, they're going to come look for you too. You see what I'm saying? Even if you ain't twins. Just them knowing that you're his peoples and he's your peoples. Y'all's problems become each other's problems. So the guards kind of like try to, you know what I'm saying, separate that. You feel me? But for the 2 where I was at, they were, for the most part, the guards were cool with everything, you know. And they were actually trying to put in for a good adjustment transfer to a different institution. And the guards were allowing them to have their paperwork go through at the same time, so they both get transferred to another institution together, which in all reality, who knows if they got to stay like that. You know, the other institution they went to could have been like, oh hell no, send him way up top, send him way down to the bottom. That's normally depending on what it's like where you land at. Okay, now I had a homeboy named Larkeith while I was locked up, and my homeboy Larkeith, he had a problem, like he liked to smoke mollies a lot. You get what I'm saying? That was his thing. When he was in there, he was smoking mollies. They, you know, they break it up and they, you know, on top of cigarettes, and they roll it up and they smoke it and stuff like that. And that's what he liked to do. Now, at the institution I was at the time, he was one of them people that like had a bunch of homeboys, you know, a bunch of people fought with him, you know what I'm saying? He was young now, you know, he was like a jit, but he was a super jit. He was big for his age, you get what I'm saying? So one day we're sitting there vibing. Next thing you know, we know it's transfer day, we know it's Tuesday, that's the day the bus comes, it's the day the bus leaves, for people who are shipping out, for people who are coming in. And when I first got to this institution, they used to have everybody on the rec yard, you know, like whatever dorms were supposed to be at rec at that time, during the transfer, you would still be on the rec yard. You know, like when I got there, we had to pull up in the gate right next to the rec yard, and all these people were on the fucking gate screaming things, just like you see in the movie The Longest Yard, when Adam Sandler goes over there and he tries to play them boys in basketball. You know, it looked like a little, like the trenches. That's what it looked like when I first got there, you know, and that's how it was, you know, almost around this time. But then they changed it to where they started locking the pound down on Tuesdays around the time the bus is coming. So you don't really know who's coming there or who's getting transferred out unless they let you know they're being transferred, or someone gives you a kite from them, and then you'll eventually see who ends up landing there. So Tuesday comes, we're locked down just like a regular day. We already know what time it is. Whatever we got going on or whatever we think we got in rotation, we got to get it done before lunch, because once we go to our second chow, which is lunch, boom, 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 pound's going to be shut down due to the transfer. All right, so a bunch of people came there. Little did we know, somebody that came there ended up knowing my dog Larkeith. So like, it took like 2 days, you know, nobody even thought anything of it. We weren't even stressing like to see who it was that came or anything like that, which I will tell you this, that's very important to know who comes to an institution, especially if you've been there before they were. It gives you the, you know, you got ups on them, you feel me? Because you're able to try to see who's there first before they see you. You know, you might see an op of yours, somebody you got beef with, somebody that, you know, you want to get at, or somebody that tried to get at you on the streets. So it's always good to pay attention to who comes, you know what I'm saying? So that way you could see them before they see you, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to be the one where you think shit's sweet, you're not worried about who's coming, and then next thing you know, somebody that really wants to harm you comes there, and then they get the ups on you. You see what I'm saying? But at this time, we weren't even really worried about who was coming on the bus, you feel me? So a few days later, I'm in the dorm, me and Markeith are just cooling it. He's actually teaching me a trick with cards. He was trying to show me how to, you know, do this little card trick and shit, right? So as we're sitting there vibing, next thing you know, somebody walks in, and Larkeith's sitting there, you know, he just got done rolling him up a little stick with Molly and everything. He's smoking Molly right in front of me. And this inmate walks in, and he comes right up to us, and he starts telling Larkeith, he's like, hey, you know such and such, and I don't know the name, but he was like, you know such and such, and he's like, yeah, I know that. He's like, yeah, that's my old boy, that's my daddy. You feel me? And he was like, oh, well, he's out there looking for you. He just got here. So he was like, what? Come to find out, his real dad got transferred to the institution we were at. You see what I'm saying? So sure enough, about 2-3 more days go by, he's trying to look for him and everything. And I already knew, because I asked Larkeith, I could tell by the way he was acting when he said, what when they said that your daddy's here or whatever, I could tell the way he acted. He was like, man, I don't fuck with dude, you know what I'm saying? So I could tell he really ain't like his dad, you know? And he was telling me, man, bro ain't raised me, what the fuck, this and that, you know, he was basically breaking it down how his old boy wasn't a good father figure when he was on the streets throughout his whole life or anything like that. So fuck him, you don't fuck with him. So, you know me, I'm like, it is what it is. It ain't really my business to be speaking on, you know, his personal family issues. So we just go about our business. A few days later, old boy makes his way into our dorm. When he comes in the dorm, he's walking around, he's looking and shit, and he's asking for Larkeith. So next thing you know, someone's like, oh yeah, right over there. So Larkeith's sitting there on the locker. He's smoking a Molly stick. That's what he was known for doing. For anybody who was locked up and knew Markeith, you would know this is facts. He smoked about 15 of these motherfuckers a day, you know. So he's sitting there, he's sparking his thing on the locker, just vibing and chilling, you know, in his own world. Next thing you know, he come in there. He's like, what's up, son? You know, yada, 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 this and that, this and that. And he's like, man, don't fucking son me. You know, so he started arguing with his real old boy. You know what I'm saying? He's like, this and that, this and that. And he's like, man, you know, at the end of the day, you know I wasn't the best father, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, I was bad at that time. And, you know, making up, you know, excuses and shit. But if he decides to forgive him, that's on him. You know, at the end of the day, everybody moves different and accepts certain things, moves on, whatever it is. But Larkeith ain't letting up. So they're going back and forth, and he's like, man, don't son me, man. Get your ass away from my bunk, man. Da-da-da-da-da, you ain't my fucking daddy, da-da-da. He started arguing with him. Next thing you know, his old boy's like, you need to stop smoking Mollies, right? So he said, man, fuck you. He's like, you go get me some Mollies. How about that? This and that, this and that. You don't tell me what I can and cannot do. So now they having like a real deal, like family feud right here, and the whole dorm's just sitting back like knows to stay out of it. You feel me? Because that's, at the end of the day, that's his old boy. You know, whether he likes it or not, even though they ain't who raised him. You get what I'm saying? But they're going back and forth, and he's like, man, I'm just trying to, you know, make sure you're okay. I'm trying to protect you and this and that. And Larkeith's like, protect me, man. You just got here. I'm trying to protect your ass. There's people in this dorm that'll jump on you right now if I tell them to. You feel me? And we're all just sitting there looking like, damn, you know, old boy and son type shit, you know. But it's one of those things where it's like, you know, it's hard to forgive somebody for how bad they fucked up in the past. You know what I'm saying? But when you find yourself in this type of situation, in this type of environment, you got to kind of like either take the good with the good or the bad with the bad. You got to look at it like, boom, I got somebody that's my actual bloodline in here with me. You know, do I like support them, rock all the way to the fullest, even if they weren't in my life for real? Like, is this my chance to get the bond with them that I never had? You feel me? Or do I stay clear from it because I'm putting myself on a pedestal and making it known to people like, this my old boy. So whatever happens to him, I'm a threat now to these people. Any problems he gets into, they gonna look at me like, oh, you know, can't forget about his son. Or they might get at you just to get at the dad. You get what I'm saying? Like, you never really know. His enemies become your enemies. So it's kind of tricky when it comes to having somebody in there you're family with, as well as a friend. Even a friend, somebody you knew on the streets, one of your dogs. You know, it's tricky because y'all's problems become each other's problems. Even if you ain't got nothing to do with it. You know, somebody could see you talking to him, dapping each other up and not thinking nothing of it. And then next thing you know, 2 months go by and he gets stabbed, and before you know it, people are coming to try to stab you because they knew you were cool with him. You see, that's how it goes. You know what I'm saying? And due to Larkeith and his dad arguing and screaming and shit like that, he was on some shit like, whatever happens to you, old man's on you. You get what I'm saying? I do my time, you do your time. You know, and he wasn't letting up. You feel me? And I kind of like want to let him know, like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you should probably give your old boy a chance. You feel me? Maybe, you know, God put y'all in here together, you know, to get this time together. You feel me? That, I mean, that's just the only way you look at it. You feel me? Like, it's right now, you know, you're mad about him not being there. You know, you're mad because he didn't raise you. He didn't care about you. He wasn't around. Well, now he's there with nowhere to go. So you might as well take advantage of that shit. You know what I'm saying? And try to, you know, make sure y'all come to an understanding of this is new now. You feel me? This is a new bond. We gonna start fresh. It is what it is. But don't be trying to little boy me like I'm your little baby boy and you bigger than me. I'm protecting your old ass in here for the most part. You know what I'm saying? That's how I felt like, if anything, it should have went. But Larkeith, he wasn't letting up. You know, he let him know, like, man, don't be bringing your ass down here on my dorm again. You come down here, dog, I'm going to smack the shit out you. I'm going to let these boys jump on you. Yada, yada, yada. And I'm just like, you know, hey, that's his old boy. You know, at the end of the day, you feel me? People take shit more serious than others. Some people might forgive. Some people might not, you know. And to me, it was crazy because everybody else that I seen run into a family member embraced them and was like, oh, but we good, you know. They made it known to everybody, like, this my peoples, you know. At the end of the day, I'm rocking with my peoples, which that's how it's supposed to be. Right or wrong, you're supposed to rock with them. Even if they did something wrong, if they're your real peoples, your real dog from the streets, your real blood relative, even if they are wrong, you know, sometimes you got to get yourself involved in shit even when they're wrong. You can let them know they fucked up, but that has nothing to do with your loyalty to them. You feel me? Like, yeah, you messed up. You get what I'm saying? You were wrong, but I'm still rocking with your dumb ass. You know, that's how it's supposed to be. You see, now, I will say that probably a year later, man, like a long time went by, and I would just see, you know, Larkeith was doing his own thing. And I'd see the dad across the compound certain times, and they both mobbed the pound at different times, acting like they didn't even know each other. You know, a lot of people knew that they were, you know, relatives, but a lot of people also didn't know because they didn't even act like they were related. You see what I'm saying? And for me to sit back and observe and realize, like, damn, you got a father and son right here, both in prison, you know, doing time together, and they don't even acknowledge each other. The dad tried, but, you know, he ain't try anymore. You get what I'm saying? He got the message. You feel me? It made me dwell on the fact that my dad was dead. You get what I'm saying? Like, shit, I wish I would have got another hour with my old boy. You feel me? But your old boy's in here. But it's different though, because I was like this with my old boy. You get what I'm saying? So I can understand, you know, the whole process of not wanting to let him in like that, you know. But about a year later, like I was saying, when I'd see them, you know, different timings and shit like that, one day, man, I was walking back from Vizzo. And as I'm walking back from Vizzo, I look over, and, you know, I'm not paying attention. You know, I'm just going back to my dorm, like, casual. And I look over, and I see both of them walking together and talking, right? So I look over, and I'm like, oh, shit. You know, like, I'm thinking, like, is Larkeith finna, like, swing on him or something? Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, it looked like a little dispute, a little heated, you know, but they're walking, you know, next to each other, you know. So I'm thinking, like, all right, now what? I'm thinking maybe the old boy tried to go back in his chest, like, look, son, ba 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 ba, this and that, you know, what's up, boom, boom, boom. But that really wasn't the case. So then I started realizing, I started peeping, he's hanging out with his old boy a little more, you know. I start seeing them, like, on the basketball court together at rec. They're playing handball together at rec. You know, like, I noticed they're walking around together, so they're kind of, like, talking. And to me, that's a big step, you know. Like, I told Larkeith, I said, boy, I see you with your old boy, dog. And he's like, man, fuck that old man. And I said, nah, look, I'm going to be 100 with you. I like that shit because I wish I had my old boy, you feel me? So you doing that, you know, that shit probably took a lot of pride, you feel me, for you to even be walking and talking. He's like, man, I just be hearing old school out and shit, but it ain't nothing like that. I don't fuck with him. And I'm like, yeah, I feel you. Next thing you know, I start peeping. They're hanging out playing chess with each other. You know, you'll see them at Chow together. And then next thing you know, they're in Vizzo together with the same people because that's his son, that's his dad. And through it all, they ended up being cool as fuck, you know. And I felt like that was cool as hell to see. Because due to the fact that he wasn't in Larkeith's life, and now he's trying to, you know, get in there since they're in such fucked up circumstances, and now he has no choice but to be around them. You know, that's like a fresh start. That's like a newborn lifestyle for them. You get what I'm saying? Because he's already grown, so it's even harder. You know, when they're a kid, they'll hear you out. They'll hear every excuse in the world. You know, it goes in one ear out the other. But when you're grown and you're hard-headed, you don't really want to take that shit in. You feel me? So me going through the process while I was locked up, even though I was innocent when I did my 5 years, but me going through the process of being locked up, this is one of the things that I could say I actually seen take place inside a prison that was good to see. You get what I'm saying? It was like cool to be able to witness this. You know what I'm saying? And by the time I left my institution getting transferred on a negative adjustment transfer for getting too many write-ups in a month, they were still there, hanging out. Everything was cool. You know, I'd see them in the dorm. You know, one would violate, come to our dorm, see Larkeith, and he'd go over there, violate, he'd go hang out with his old boy in his dorm. It's called violate when you go in dorms you're not supposed to be in. But then last that I recall, they were cooking goulages together. I mean, you got to work with what you got. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you know, I mean, good dad or not good dad, he's there with you now. And then they actually built a bond off of it. You know what I'm saying? And I want to come on here and share the story with y'all to let y'all understand how it could go, you know, when you run into a relative. You get what I'm saying? Because just because they're your family even if they're your blood family, you know, or not just your like street family, like your homeboys or anything. Just because you're like this on the streets doesn't mean they won't betray you on the inside. You get what I'm saying? I've seen people friend their own kind, their own family and everything, and then get over on them, but have it on someone else's face. So it looks like they got over on him and he couldn't do nothing to prevent it, but really he was involved. You see, there's so much grimy shit that goes on inside of prison. You get what I'm saying? And it's all on you how you're going to react when these grimy things present themselves, because they are going to present themselves. You see what I'm saying? And if you can hold it down and you can stand on all 10, then you'll be good no matter where you go, with or without a family member or a friend with you. You get what I'm saying? But what would you do if you ran into a relative of yours or a cousin of yours? Are you going to off rip embrace them? Are you going to, you know, like, you never know what they come with now. They could have snitched somewhere. They could have came from telling at another institution. They could be fucking boys. They could be, you know, stealing. They could have a hit on their head from something they did somewhere else. So when you embrace somebody and you know, let people know this your people's, a lot comes with it. So that's why I want the comment section to let me know. What would you do? Are you embracing them? You know what I'm saying? Are you rocking with them? Are you going to try to do a background check on them before you fully embrace them and let people know that you're rocking with them? Like, what would you do? You feel me? If you had an old boy that wasn't in your life at all, didn't help raise you, and then you run into him in prison, he comes to your dorm trying to sun you, you finna put down, tell him to burn up, turn around, get the hell up out of here? Or you gonna like give him the chance to redeem himself? You feel me? Even if you shut him down and turn him down, would you let something happen to him? Or would you get involved? Would you try to back him? What would you do? That's what the whole topic is right here today in this video. You feel me? And y'all also let me know, have y'all ever seen relatives locked up with one another inside of prison? And if you have, how are they? Because in the county jail, I seen cousins in there before and brothers and shit that had, you know, war with each other. You know, like one cousin shot a brother of this guy's, and then he wanted to kill his cousin for shooting his brother. Then I seen two brothers that had beef on the streets. They wanted to get at each other and shit, and the mom was trying to stop them from killing each other or whatever. So I've seen, like, in the county jail, it's more easier to run into your own. You know what I'm saying? But in prison, you know, they scatter you across the state. You know, so what's the odds? At all the places you can land, you land right here where they land. Boom. You feel me? So it's a big thing, you know what I'm saying? But if you've been locked up and you've seen relatives locked up before, drop it in the comment section. And if you feel like Lord Keith was, you know, wrong the way he did his old boy in the beginning, drop it in the comment section. Or if you think he was right. I feel like at the end, whether he was right or wrong in the beginning, I feel like at the end he made the right choice, because, you know, everybody deserves to be forgiven. You get what I'm saying? At one point in time. As long as it ain't, you know, no sex charge or nothing like that, or no snitching or anything. You feel me? But as far as it's like something like that, you're grown. You made it to prison without him. You get what I'm saying? You're here now. At the end of the day, ain't nothing you could do about it. Why hang on to it forever? You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. It might not be that easy to forgive him and be cool with him right then and there. But hey, due to the circumstances where you are at and how dangerous it is, you need as much, you know, backup as you possibly can, just in case some shit hits the fan. I feel like it's good to make up with your loved ones. You feel me? In there. That's how I look at it. But hey, comment sections for y'all. Y'all let me know. I appreciate y'all tuning in. And y'all already know, like I always say, make sure you keep them rats, squares, clowns, chomos, pedos, gunners, wannabe island boys, and clout chasers out your circle. And until next time, this the one and only. I am my team, Frog.
I'm a criminal, I'm a cool nigga, but I got a limit though. I'm a cool nigga, but I got a limit though. Cause I'm a criminal, yeah, I'm a criminal.